All right. I was trying to figure out how to do a chapter on what is love, or a video on what is love. Um, but I've got so much written in my books about uh, some biblical quotes. God is love, God is spirit, God is light, God is a consuming fire, God is all knowing, and God is all powerful, and God is omnipresent or everywhere, the creator of all things. A bunch of God is statements. But I'm going to be reading, I'm going to get this out of the way because and at another time I'll make another video that's a little bit more, a little less like an audio book. But I'm going to probably have some little commentary as I'm reading this, but it's quite a bit. It may take some time, so I'm going to get this information out that I've been going over for 25, 30, 40, 50 years. Um, so here we go. I'm going to come up with, I got a couple biblical quotes that I'm going to speak, and then I'm just going to keep reading. Okay. Romans 11:10. Love does no evil to the neighbor, hence love is the fulfillment of the law. Matthew 5:17. Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. And then loving God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength is the fulfillment of the law. This is me, my input on top of a quote. Um, John 15:10. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love. 1 John 4:7 through 8. Beloved, let us love one another, because love is of God. Everyone who loves is begotten by God and knows God. Whoever is without love does not know God, for God is love. 1 John 4:16 through 21. God is love, and whoever remains in love remains in God, and God in him. Big, big deals about love, biblically. Jesus uh, focusing in on it. In this is love brought to perfection among us, that we have confidence on the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. And so one who has fear is not yet perfect in love. We love because he first loved us. If anyone says, I love God, but hates his brother, he is a liar. For whoever does not love a brother whom he has seen cannot love God whom he has not seen. This is the commandment we have from him. Whoever loves God must also love his brother. Uh, and then we're going to get into the First Commandment. There's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Deuteronomy 6:5. They're all very similar. There's a longer one in Mark that has a little bit more pizzazz, but it's basically the same, similar focus and bringing up to the this commandment being the primary commandment and the foundation of all, and then anything else. Um, Mark 12:28 through 34. One of the scribes, when he came forward and heard them disputing and saw how well he had answered them, asked him, which is the first of all the commandments? Jesus replied, the first is this, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other, and then I highlighted this, there is no other commandment greater than these. The scribe said to him, well said, teacher, you are right in saying, he is one and there is no other than he, and to love him with all your heart, with all your understanding, with all your strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself is worth more than all burnt offerings and sacrifices. And when Jesus saw that, he answered with understanding. He said to him, you are not far from the kingdom of God. And no one dared to ask him any more questions. Yes, to me, going into love, into the euphoria of love, is like entering into the kingdom of heaven. Going into love is, well, I'm going to keep going because there's a lot of content and I'm sure I cover what I was just getting ready to say. Let's see, Luke. By the way, the other two are Matthew 22, uh, chapter 22, 34 to 40, and then Luke 10, 24, and then Deuteronomy. I've got it listed as 6:4, but I believe it's 6:5, maybe 6:4 and 6:5. But here's another one of my favorites. I'm not a absolute on board with Apostle Paul, but there's a few places where he nails it. He's in sync with Jesus. Other times he's not so in sync. But anyway, this is one of those times. The love is called the love chapter. 1 Corinthians 13. If I speak in human and angelic tongues, but do not have love, I am a resounding gong or a clashing cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy and comprehend all mysteries and all knowledge, if I have all faith so as to move mountains, but I do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away everything I own, and if I hand my body over so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, it is not jealous, it is not pompous, it is not inflated, it is not rude, it does not seek its own interests, it is not quick-tempered, it does not brood over injury, it does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all, believes all things. I'm not too sure about that. Believes all things. That's a little open for misunderstanding. Uh, hopes all things. Endures all things. Love never fails. If there are prophecies, they will be brought to nothing. If tongues, they will cease. If knowledge, it will be brought to nothing. For we know partially, and we prophesy partially. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I used to talk as a child, think as a child, reason as a child. When I became a man, I put aside childish things. At present, we see indistinctly, as in a mirror, but then face to face. At present, I know partially. Then I shall know fully, as I am fully known. So faith, hope, love remain, these three, but the greatest of these is love. All right, are you ready to learn the second part of the loving God with all your heart, mind, with all your faculties commandment that Jesus and God emphasize? which is what is love. Because again, if you haven't read or listened to, watched any of my other videos, I point out that there's 3 or 4 different parts to loving God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. One is you need to know who God is that you can love. And the other is you need to know what love is so you can love. And the third, and maybe there's a fourth, but you need to be able to apply that love to God. Uh, and then maybe this is a fourth, that you have to be willing to do that for the rest of your life. Agree to align yourself with loving God and moving into that world. By the way, from personal experience, given that I've been through all kinds of hell, and I'm conditioned to respond to the world in a variety of different ways that are not very loving. Uh, Going into my love center, going into love has been very beneficial from all the other hatred and anger and resentments and irritations and jealousies and fears and dramas and all the other all the other gates, all the other pathways of life that lead to death, lead to perdition. Love is the narrow gate. All right, so let's go into this. Breathing is one of, if not the most compelling and primary connections we have with nature, the omniverse or God. And again, I use the term omniverse to mean all things. There are other universes somewhere, or like a multiverse. People talk about the multiverse. Now, if there's more than one universe, the omniverse or all verses, all um, would mean every universe that if there are any alternate universes, then the omniverse will include all of them. If our universe is expanding, it's probably expanding into something, which may be another universe or maybe another something, another dimension. But whatever this universe is expanding into, the omniverse includes it. There's nothing, black holes, other dimensions. There's nothing known and unknown or yet to be known that is going to escape this term. Universe used to mean what I'm talking about, but then they decided there might be alternate universes, or the universe is expanding again into something. So the omniverse is going to cover everything. There's not going to be another. This is the peak. This is everything. Uh, so breathing is one of, if not the most compelling and primary connections we have with nature, the omniverse or God. When we were and I had another video discussing who or what God is, and I've come to the conclusion that everything, the omniverse, uh, is God. It's atomically charged energy in an infinite space in all directions. Uh, God is the omniverse. God is all. God is the knower of all, the seer of all, the creator of all present, omnipresent, all the power and all the atomic particles in the omniverse, infinite space. It's the most powerful God you can have. Any of your transcendent gods that you have, this omniversal God incorporates them. They're part of this omniversal God. Uh, you'll get to see why that matters when it comes to loving God, because you're going to be able to love God everywhere you go, because you're going to know God's presence is everywhere, wherever you are, and you, inside of you, every part of you. Something else is running your life. Something else is growing your hair, your fingernails, keeping your heart beating, your liver and kidneys functioning, the blood flowing, eyesight and brain function, hearing, smell, taste, desires, will, self-preservation. Those are all guided by uh, an inner being, which I'm going to call God. God is running your life from the inside. When we are in the womb, breathing is one of the most, if not the most compelling, one of, if not the most compelling and primary connections we have with nature, the omniverse of God. Breathing is our umbilical cord. We are connected. You stop breathing for 3 to 6 minutes, depending on who you are. Some people can hold the breath longer, but basically most people, if you stop breathing, or if you get your breathing cut off somehow, you're dead. You're out of your body. You're gone. So it's the primary thing that when you're born, the people involved need to know you're breathing. When we are in the womb, our biological mother, through the umbilical cord, meets our basic needs and breathes for us. At birth, one of the body's first concerns is breathing. If it does not start immediately upon exiting the womb, there is urgency in the people involved with the birth to ensure that it does begin, or the child will die. Once breathing, we then start our independence from our physical mothers, while continuing our lifelong connection with nature as our new mother and life support in the air we breathe through the mouth and nostrils into our lungs. Of course, our biological mother may continue feeding us through the breast, as in the womb, which are both nourished by the omniverse God, nature, and eventually weaning us off the breast and showing us how to be fed directly by our new parents, Mother Nature and Father God. If we stop the breathing connection with the omniverse God, nature, completely, our consciousness or spirit will leave our bodies in a short time, which is about 4 to 6 minutes, depending on the person, available oxygen in the body at the time breathing stops, current metabolism, and the possible ambient temperature. They found out that people who fell through the ice in a creek and went down the river or down the creek, and they were under the ice for a lot longer than most people can hold their breath. Their body was cooled down, their metabolism slowed down because they were cold. They froze up, kind of healed up, and things slowed down, so they were able to stay under and, and survive. Somebody broke them through the ice uh, after longer, I don't know, 10 minutes or something like that. But during intense physical activity, I wonder if we can add this in here. I don't know. I'll figure it out. During intense physical activity or anaerobic activity, our muscles use the oxygen available within the muscles of or body. If it is not replaced fast enough through breathing, lactic acid accumulates and a burning sensation is felt, which we will call muscle hell. Now, if you've ever done any kind of activity, whether it's digging or gardening or uh, track and athletics, weightlifting, holding something up, or picking something up, painting a ceiling, putting your arm up and moving. Uh, Wherever your muscles get overworked, they're going to be in too fast a time, and uh, oxygen and energy can't be readjusted. Lactic acid, uh, lactic acid will get to muscle hell. Most people have experienced muscle hell of some kind, either uh, total muscle hell from like a wrestling match or or minor from, again, painting a ceiling and your shoulder starts to burn. Um, Lactic acid can be reconverted into glycogen or muscle fuel with the restoration of oxygen through breathing. So a jogger who's jogging down a road is breathing and replacing and circulating the lactic acid. A sprinter who runs all out, this is something that always amazed me. Well, anyway, let me finish this little paragraph. Breathing not only restores chemical balance to muscle cells in the physical body, it restores balance and peace throughout our being. Back in high school, the thing that used to really uh, caught me off guard was running a quarter mile. We used to have to do that in training, which was one of my least favorite things because I didn't realize or understand the value of that. But running a quarter mile was, they call it the longest sprint. But I'll tell you, if you run all out, I don't even know, like if you ran at complete top speed, I don't know if you could go even 200 meters. And definitely 300 meters is probably the maximum of all out sprinting. You have to pace yourself a little bit, even in the 200 meters or definitely in 400 meters. You can run very fast, but you can't run all out. Um, but anyway, that little limitation of anaerobic respiration using the available oxygen in the muscles, and not being able to restore it fast enough. You can't breathe fast enough to get it. You can't. The oxygen won't circulate fast enough to have it replaced. Breathing not only restores chemical balance to muscle cells in the physical body, it restores balance and peace throughout our being. Sometimes this might end up being two different videos because I'm moving along very slowly here. Might be a chapter 2 or a part 2. Sometimes we have very shallow breathing, which causes or is caused by psychological and emotional conflicts, hatred, anger, mania, paranoia, and depression are some of the disturbed symptoms associated with negative, focused, psychologically induced, restricted breathing, oxygen deprivation, or self-induced suffocation. There are two extremes in the way we breathe. One is, or two potential extremes. One is minimized shallow breathing that generates a non-loving, suffocated, repressed denial or minimization of life in our own personal hell, straitjacket or prison of defense mechanisms, afraid of dying or getting hurt and therefore afraid of living. The other is an open acceptance of life, love, and our world through breathing freely and consciously. Full, unrestricted breathing says yes to life with love, while minimized and or restricted breathing says no, I'm afraid of life and have no trust in love. When we breathe peacefully and consciously, feeling the air passing into and out of our upper air passages and into our lungs, where our life depends upon the omniverse, God or nature, that's where we meet our dependency. Breathing is and accepting your breathing is, I'm going to get into this. Uh, we can become aware of a sensual, loving euphoria in our nasal passages, throat, and lungs. So starting from your nasal passage or even your throat, open your mouth if you're breathing. If you've got a cold, you're breathing through your mouth. Um, you can feel the euphoria in breathing. It may not happen overnight, but I know when I was smoking crack and I smoked processed cocaine, went right down into my love center and lit up my love center and gave me a pretty dramatic feeling like I found the love I've been looking for. But it turned on me because it came and went as fast as it came, it went just as fast. Then they spend the whole rest of the night, or 2 or 3 days, 3, 4, even 5 days sometimes, trying to repeat that feeling. Uh, and I used to call it very expensive self-induced mental illness. Start hearing voices and you're not sleeping and going crazy. But anyway, this is a natural version. You can relax and breathe and feel your love center. And in that love, in that breathing, you're accepting your life. You're accepting God's will for yourself. Uh, you're accepting that somebody else is running the rest of your body. Somebody else is running the rest of your life or your body. Let's just stick with your body. I'm not going to go into whether it's running your life because you're going to go to work. You're going to get up and go, set the alarm clock, get up and go to work, and you're going to do whatever it is you're doing. But your body that gives you the ability, and your brain and everything else that gives you the ability to do that is being run by something else. We're put here by something else. I'm going to call it God. You can call it the omniverse or nature. And the every part of our body is all being run by something else. There's an orchestration going on for healing and all the instinctive drives we have, the mechanism that tells us that we're hungry, the mechanism that tells us we're full, the mechanism that tells us we're thirsty, we're tired, and it's okay to get up, the fear that gets us out of the road, or the drama, the awareness gets us out of the road when a truck is coming. We want to find cool when we're overheating, go find a shade or air conditioner or a fan. And or um, move north. Um, or when we're cold, we want to find warmth. We want to start a fire. We want to go inside. We want to turn up the heat. We want to go move south. Put some clothes on. We're guided from within to keep us in harmony with the world. Um, Very important to get this. Most people think love is, um, giving somebody roses or some cute little story of, a ring, I want to marry you. Those are acts of love. They're not love. Love is in our love is in our love center, and love can be channeled through a wide variety of different avenues. But love is pure love. It is not an act. It can be acted upon. You can act out in loving manners. You can make love to somebody. But you want to have love, not just fucking or not just having sex. But when you're making love, you have you want to have love within you to give, to share. And it's one thing to receive it from someone, but it's never quite as enjoyable as it is when you're giving. But in the breathing, usually that's what happens when you're around somebody. If you're around somebody that you don't like or you're afraid of, your breathing becomes shallow. When you're around good friends or family or loved ones, your breathing is very relaxed and you're comfortable. You don't have the fear. Fear creates muscle tensions. Fear shuts down the breathing. So, as it was said in one of the earlier biblical quotes, um, that if you have fear, you haven't matured in love. Because love, matter of fact, for me, love eliminates all kinds of mental, emotional, and spiritual illnesses like anger, resentment, jealousy, fear, drama, uh, neurosis, psychosis, all sorts of uh, things that are going on in the mind that are fears and dramas of the past experiences, resentments that you're still carrying. In love, which is down in your love center, you used to call it your heart, but it's not really your heart because your heart is just beating and pumping blood. This is in your breathing, your lungs, and that's a form that's telling yourself when you're breathing peacefully, without fear and drama and chaos, you are accepting God's will, accepting the will of whoever it is that's running your life, and you're at peace with it, regardless. We'll get into it a little further when we get some other biblical quotes where Jesus talks about loving your enemies and turning the other cheek and all that stuff. Because that can happen when you're able to do that. And I always say up to and including crucifixion, we can remain loving no matter what's going on. If we come out of our head and stop with the judgments and stop with the criticisms and stop with uh, the knowledge of good and evil and all the judgmental activity that goes along with that, and we drop down into our love center with the breathing. We find the peace and we find the harmony because we're all driven towards harmony with our world. Every animal, every living thing on the planet, birds, trees, uh, elephants, kangaroos, snakes, reptiles, rodents, uh, fish. Every living thing on the planet seeks harmony with the world around us. Um, we're born that way, and we're going to live that way until we're no longer living um, in the body that we're in. Um, so we can become aware of the sensual, loving euphoria in our nasal passages, throat, and lungs. Take a moment to relax and see if you can feel the euphoria or love in breathing. And try this. Again, many people have a variety of different uh, think beliefs or what they've been told love or that love is this, that, and the other thing. But most of those things that people think are love are channels for love or activities of love. But take a moment and relax and breathe, preferably through your nose, but you can breathe through your mouth, and you'll feel the you can you'll if you don't feel it now, you will eventually. One day you'll be driving down the road or sitting in your chair or taking a walk somewhere, and you're going to notice, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel the love in your breathing, and you're going to remember this conversation if you don't already know this already. A lot of people are born and raised. They're raised in a loving household with a lot of love, and they're natural at breathing and feeling love. I'm the seventh out of 10 children, and with one bathroom and no 4 boys in one room, 6 girls in another. So I was a little crowded, and I didn't. We were taught humor, laughing and joking. But anyway, I didn't have. Well, I was conditioned and trained to do a bunch of other things, uh, athletics or uh, studies or getting good grades or getting good times or good this, that, and the other thing, being competitive. Um, so I wasn't taught to love. Kind of may have happened coincidentally, but if you take a little moment and you try to feel it, breathe before you just bail out on it and say this is stupid or this is dumb. Find it because it's absolutely important to find to link yourself because to me love is our connection with our creator. Love is the the connector, the unifier. Harmonious love, in particular, is the way that we fulfill this loving God with our heart, mind, soul, and strength. Of course, we want to think loving thoughts. We want to feel loving feelings. And with our strength, we don't want to squander our strength. We don't want to abuse ourselves and use up our vitality by doing overworking or chasing illusions, chasing fortune and fame, or chasing this, that, and the other thing. Devote ourselves to love and aligning ourselves with our Creator. Now, this goes for an atheist also. An atheist can see because the omniverse uh, is the God of the atheist and the agnostic. The omniverse is the God of the Muslim, the Jew, the Christian, the Buddhist, the Hindu, the Zoroastrian, the Confucius, the Shinto. Uh, there's any other religion or non-religious. The omniverse is the God of all, um, and we are instinctively driven to be in harmony with this omniverse, this energy, this atomically charged spirit or of God or energy of the universe that we are composed of. Every part of us is composed of atomic particles and energy and all the energy. That's an amazing amount of energy, and we're surrounded. All our surroundings, the air all around us, the walls, the backdrop, the chair we're in, the floor we're on, the ceiling. Everything is composed of atomic particles, atomic energy, and or atomically charged spirit. Um, and we are part of that. We are children of God. We are children of the omniverse. And being in harmony, being in loving harmony with this omniverse is the thing. And where we're connected, again, our love center is our connection. Our breathing is our umbilical cord with this connection. When we breathe peacefully, we're in harmony. When we shut our breathing down, we create drama within. We create hell. One is heaven, and one is the path of heaven. Acceptance of your will, or God's will. Acceptance of the God who's running your life right now. And running your life gets a little confusing. You're running your body for sure. But given that whatever's running our body and our minds and our ability to communicate is basically in charge, because if we don't have our brain functioning, which is again is functioning without our we're not creating our brain cells and the electrical impulses running across synapses. Um, so finding this love and breathing is key. It's key to sanity. It's key to uh, personal well-being. It's key to loving God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. It's key to. It's actually key to global harmony. Uh, this needs to. This finding this love uh, is is important because the world looks like it's heading towards some kind of global civil war, and it would be nice to derail that train before it goes uh, before the crash of cultures, crash of politics, crash of finances, crash of religions, crash of belief systems. A lot of warring factions out there in the world, and it would be good if everybody aligned themselves with their natural instincts. This isn't like you need to be an animal, but the animal that we have We're human animals. We're human, very human. We're godly. We can be godly, um, especially if we're in love with our Creator everywhere we go. Because all this loving, being in love with all this atomic energy that's around us is the pathway to heaven. And I know I've experienced it. I'm currently experiencing pretty good right now because I decided to derail my or change my focus from reading out of the chapter and then speaking ad lib here and going into my love center, breathing and feeling the joy and the euphoria in my love center and pointing out how valuable it is. Um, and this is, to me, this is the thing that if God exists, and I personally am taking that route. Um, God has never come and spoke to me through the clouds, but I do know that Jesus pointed me in the direction to love God with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength, and find out who God was. And when I discovered and realized that, oh my goodness, God is all powerful, and God must be all the atomic energy all around me. It must be it, not just be part of it. It must be that power. Because if God is all powerful, then all that power must be God. If God is omnipresent or present everywhere, then that means what it says. God is everywhere, uh, including in me, because I'm a child of God. You're a child of God. We're all children of God. Some of us just don't know it. Some of us live in ignorance and misguided with going here and going there and forgetting that they have a natural drive towards love and harmony with the world. And if everybody can align themselves with being loving with the world, we would have a loving world. That's pretty simple, huh? Yes. So finding this breathing in by inhaling and exhaling slowly and consciously, paying attention to feeling the air entering and exiting our breathing passages. This is your love center. This is your intimate connection with nature, God, or the universe. This is our new umbilical cord. Love is our umbilical cord with life. Love is our umbilical cord with God. Love is our umbilical cord with the universe. Again, atheist or agnostic or religious person, uh, we're all in the same boat. We all are, our internals, our being is driving us to be in harmony and loving harmony. It is the fruition of human existence. It is to immerse into a world of love, a magical world of love, um, in a world of atomically charged energy all around us, in us and around us, to immerse ourselves into the magical world of atomic energy and potential. Because given that Jesus talks about healing the sick and walking on water, and it's saying that we can do if we do the right things, we can perform even greater miracles than he did. But uh, whether you perform miracles or not, the joy of living in love and living in the euphoria of an atomically charged energy field and embracing and finding love with all things, living and non-living, or so-called non-living. I call everything living. Every piece of furniture, every rock, every tree, every bird, every the lamps, shade, the wall, the concrete. Everything has a vibrational frequency. Everything is in motion. Everything is atomically charged. Everything has energy. The Einsteinian theorem there of energy equals mass times the speed of light squared indicates that every piece of there's X amount of energy and X amount of mass of all material. And me, that every part of that is all the God that I am to fall in love with and be in love with. So there's no place I can go where the God of my understanding isn't present, fully present, not just somewhere off in a corner in a closet or up in the ceiling. Uh, and the transcendent God will not work. It doesn't work. If your God is somewhere out there, you're you're lost. You're not going to be found. When your God is everywhere, all around you and within you, including loving yourself, loving every part of you, loving your feet, your hands, your knees, your ass, your back, your shoulders, your head, your hair, your eyes. Loving yourself um, is another part of this. Love all things. Love God all over with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength to make your whole entire being a loving being. Um, Again, very important. It's the key. It's the key element that Jesus talked about, and several other biblical commands, biblical statements have said that when you're in love, you're loving God, or you're in love, you're with God, um, and then you're also not going to be violating anyone or anything. This is another thing I've come to the conclusion that this is what Jesus meant when he came for the forgiveness of sins. Because if you turn around and you start loving this God that is everywhere, you're no longer going to be violating. You're no longer be lying, cheating, stealing, abusing, killing, hurting, injuring, adulterizing. You're not going to be violating any part of God. Therefore, you've been uh, uh, corrected. They have a correctional facility. They have jails and institutions that are designed to teach you a lesson, to keep you from committing criminal acts. Uh, and if you learn your lessons and you become corrected, then you're more likely to be let out on parole. And if you don't, then you're not likely to be let out early anyway. You may be limited on time and just have a certain sentence. But anyway, to get back to the, committing sins in your past, when if you have moved into love and you're no longer plotting and scheming and lying and cheating and planning and lusting and desiring and coveting um, and arrogant and proudful pride and narcissistic and delusional. You're no longer in all this crap. And if you move down into the narrow gate of love, then you are you will have detached yourself from your past. You're a different person. You're born again, and then you become like a child. You become innocent like a child. And this is what Jesus mentions about uh, entering the kingdom of heaven like a child, because then you become innocent. You're no longer arrogant. You're innocent. When you're in that breathing, you're finding your love center, and you find peace and harmony with your world, and you're no longer interested in being a sinner. You're no longer plotting and scheming to be a criminal, a thief, a liar, a bullshitter. You're not scamming and scheming and fucking fearing and drama. You're not fabricating, haunting dramas and fears and jealousies and insecurities and arrogance and competitiveness and all the other crap that can go on that you can use your brain for. So To me, the brain is a magical tool, but it shouldn't be used by your brain. You should use your brain. And when you go into love, uh, your brain becomes a tool, um, and and when you're in love, you're in harmony. You're at peace. You're in. It's it's close to heaven on earth as you're going to get when you get your love center going and keep it going on a regular basis. So this is what love is. I didn't finish the chapter, the love chapter. I felt like I had started to got the push the push the cart down the hill, and we got rolling without needing to read the book. Um, I've got that chapter in all three of the books I've written through the grace of God, um, or uh, yeah. Um, so anyway, this is the second part of this thing. I have another video I put out about who or what is God, and you tie those things in. I've already talked about some of those things, like the omniverse, but I'm going to be coming out with a couple other videos on some biblical quotes that I sniffed around in the Bible throughout the Old Testament and New Testament. And I've looked at Christianity, Judaism, the Old Testament, New Testament, Islam, uh, uh, Buddhism, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, Shintoism, esoteric practices of different monks that don't even come under the name of particular religions. I've gone searching high and low all over the world, all over the planet for information about who am I, what am I, why am I, and all that good stuff. What is God? Who is God? What is love? What am I supposed to be doing with my life? I've tried all kinds of things. Tried just about well, can't say everything, but tried quite a few things. A lot of dead end streets, and love is what I've been looking for. I've been an alcoholic, a drug addict, I've been a whore, I've been a food addict, I've been a bunch of different things. But I was always every pursuit I took, even the ones that took me into hell. I was I was thinking that I was chasing or going after love, and I was going after love, but I didn't know that I was going after love. I just was here. Somebody said, "Here, drink this. Here, smoke this. Here, snort this. Here, do this. Let me touch you here. Let you touch me there." And there's all kinds of, oh, that feels good. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Let me get another shot of that. Let me get another hit of that. Let me get another snort of that. And cigarette smoking and drinking and again, whoring around. Uh, but I was looking for love, and this is it. I found it. It's in the breathing. It's always been there, um, and it always will be there as long as you're alive. And certainly God and the energy and the spirit, God's spirit will always be around you. Your creator, again, uh, even if you're an atheist and you just believe in science and evolution and the omniverse, then you still are driven towards being in harmony with this omniverse. Um, and by finding love and being in harmony, that's what you're driven to. You've been driven, the atheist has been driven towards love, and the religious and the agnostic have been driven, and are still being driven towards love and harmony. Uh, we do whatever we do. We do it consciously or unconsciously, but there's a shortcut. There's a whole bunch of avenues and dead end streets that you don't need to take. Just start breathing, find your love center, and you'll find peace. This is the solution. One of my favorite sayings out of Alcoholics Anonymous, what they call the big book, the Alcoholics Anonymous book, is we're not cured of alcoholism. What we really have is a daily reprieve contingent on the maintenance of our spiritual condition. Now it's become absolutely positively clear to me that love is good spiritual condition. When you're in love, and not, I don't mean the addictive love where you're in love with some one person. This is universal, omniversal love. This is love with all. This is love with God. The love of God, love with God is our primary relationship. Any other relationship is secondary, whether it's a family, friends, kids, uh, husband, wife, children, cousins, uncles, mother, father. Those are secondary. Those are temporary. Those are partial. They will come and go. Uh, even if you stay married for the rest of your life, which is a good thing, I guess, if it's good, and it should be, it could be, but I guess no. But I do know that wherever you go, your God is with you. There's nowhere you can go that God is not with you. And God has always been with you. The omniverse, the energy. It's the energy that's keeping you alive. Because just think about this. Let's look at this. The air you breathe, everywhere you go, there's the air you breathe. The air you breathe comes from the omniverse or God. And it is all, you take air from here, comes over here, goes into your love center, and it keeps you alive. So everywhere you go, you have a, you have this relationship. You have, I'm calling it a loving relationship. The people who haven't found their love center yet, they don't realize it. But everywhere we go, we have this loving relationship or the potential for this loving relationship. If you haven't found your love in that, but everywhere you go, that relationship is keeping you alive. Everywhere on the planet, whether you're with your friend or your enemy, either way, wherever you are, that our Creator, Omniverse or God, whichever you prefer, is keeping us alive and loving that relationship through breathing. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath and put your body in a stressful situation because that's what's going to happen when you hold your breath. Your body's going to start panicking and try to convince you to start breathing. It's going to create stress and drama. Stress and drama is not healthy, and it's not happy. It's not happy, joyous, and free. Um, so everywhere you go, you have a relationship with God or the omniverse. That's not always the case with your husband or your wife or your kids or your family members or your friends or your neighbors. You're 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 not with they're not with you all the time. I mean, every once in a while you might have some opportunity that two people could be together 24 hours a day. But even there, one of them is going to go to the bathroom, one of them is going to go out in the backyard. And while they're out in the backyard, you're in the house breathing love. You're in a loving relationship with your Creator. And it's wise to have it to be a loving relationship with your Creator because that's a very beautiful thing. It's the number one relationship. And whether if you or your husband or wife are having a good relationship with your Creator, then you're both going to be have a better life together, sharing because the same Spirit of God is within your husband and wife or wife, uh, as or friend or enemy or lover or whatever. If you're both aware that you're each of you are composed of atomic charged Spirit of God or Spirit of the energy of the universe, omniverse. So this is what love is. It is not you, and that love can be channeled through giving gifts, can be channeled through romantic language, it can be channeled through music and love making. You can channel this love. Love is pure love. When you're breathing, you've got pure love, and you're and again, you're being fed by your Creator in love. Love is food. Love is Creator food. It's fueling you. It's feeding you. This air, this breathing is this love is is nourishment for the soul. It's soul food. Now there's real soul food. Is is love. Love is real soul food. It's not ham hocks and grits and collard greens. You know, that may be some version of food, but soul food is love. Love is soul food. That other food is body food, uh, but love is soul food. Um, and it's there in your breathing. Again, there's no way you can get around it. You can't avoid your relationship with God. You can't avoid your relationship with the omniverse. And you might as well have it be loving and harmonious and euphoric, because the better that gets, the more love you get, the better, the better, the better it is. It's a great path. It's the narrow path. Again, love is the narrow path, the narrow gate of Jesus' message. Um, he, again, there's anger and resentment and pride and success and competition, winning, achieving, climbing high mountains and doing this, that, and lifting weights and running distances and uh, corporate success and financial success and materialistic success and attaining followers and achieving this, that, and the other thing, tennis matches, and we're building skyscrapers, and there's a whole network of things that people go and do, which are, they're some of these things are valuable things. Build a house, but the real success is that you recognize that whether you like it or not, you have a personal relationship with God. Uh, you always have had it, and you always, as long as you're alive. And we can guess, I don't really know, but we can guess that you're going to continue to have if you still live in after death, after the body, leave the body, like we do in a dream world where our consciousness travels around in different places in dreams. Maybe that same consciousness will go into another dimension, and maybe it'll return to this dimension. But either way, we always have had, and through breathing. Breathing is our intimate relationship with our Creator. And again, even if we call it the omniverse is creating my fingernail, not me. The omniverse is creating my skin healing. The omniverse is running blood through my system. The omniverse or God is created my eyesight and is, even though my eyesight's fading a little bit, it's still being created. It was created, and it is being maintained and created as we speak. My sense of smell, my sense of taste, my hearing. I've got all the vibrations running in the air, and they're going in, and they're flipping my hammer and anvil and sending signals up into my brain, and I'm interpreting the sounds. And if I hear the word beet with a roots and a root, purple beet and a stem, or an apple or an orange, those words, I can interpret them and I can create little images of them. All that stuff is, I can do that, or I think I can do that, but I can't do that without the help of the omniverse or God. Those things are all being run by and orchestrated by, they were created by, and maintained by the omniverse or God. Um, and my relationship, we have a relationship. We always have had a relationship. It's preferable to have a loving relationship and maintain a loving relationship with that God by breathing, by accepting and saying and helping the being within do its job by breathing, and breathing in a loving manner, loving the breathing, loving your relationship with this Creator, who's creating you as you're sitting there, or standing there, whatever you're doing when you're watching this. So there's the other half. Now there's the other third is, again, the first part is knowing what God is, who God is. I go into a little bit more detail about just focus on that in the who or what is God video. And then this one, again, is the other half of this. And hopefully I convinced you that your versions of love, that giving somebody roses, all these acts of love. There's a lot of acts, but you can buy a dozen roses and hate doing it because it's Valentine's Day and you don't really love somebody, but you can give them the roses as some mechanical thing. So that doesn't necessarily mean it can be done in a loving manner, but it can also be done as an act of spite or an act of anger or an act of compulsion. Giving gifts on Christmas, you could be overloaded with finances or burdened of not knowing what to give. Uh, Acts of love are acts of love, and they can come. You take the love, breathe, find the love, find the euphoria, and then share the love with the world around you, because the world around you is God, and whether it's your enemy or your friend, uh, family, or stranger. Love is love of God, is love of all, and with no exceptions. There's no Jesus never gave exceptions on who to love and who not to love. Uh, Loving your enemies, love those who persecute you, pray for those who. There's no. He didn't give any excuses, um, and I'm not either, because if you want to go down this road of love, you want to enjoy the euphoria of love, heaven on earth, then breathe, shut. I always, one of my favorite little jokes about telling myself, because my head gets running with all kinds of stuff, and I have to curb it and tell my brain, tell myself to shut the fuck up and love. Uh, it may sound a little crude, and I say it kind of as a comical thing, but uh, there's some merit in it, because when you get thinking too much, planning and plotting and scheming and doing all kinds of uh, chess moves to succeed in life, you forget to breathe, forget to love. But again, I want to get back on, because even I discovered during this conversation an interesting concept, that we've always had a relationship with God through our breathing. We've had an intimate dependency on God through our breathing. We are dependent on God. We are like children of God because we are dependent on His air, or it's not His, God's air, because God is in the woman and the male and the female. Well, the atomically charged energy is male and female. So God is both. God is all. God is atomically charged spirit. Uh, infinite directions in all directions. Or as far as I can tell, it's infinite. As I said in the other video, I don't know. It'd be harder for me to imagine the universe or the omniverse not being infinite, like there's just stops and there's nothing beyond. It hits some wall, and then there's nothing beyond it. I can't imagine that happening. So I can only, and then infinity is also complicated to understand. That things keep going on and um, on and on to the break of dawn. Um, yeah, I find it very fascinating that we have we always have had a relationship with God, and primarily comes through our breathing. Now, of course, we have to take food from nature and eat it to also process. That also comes through our mouth. We ingest air, and we ingest water, and we ingest food to keep our body alive. But breathing has been from birth. As soon as we come out of the womb, we've been, and before we were out of the womb, a mother was doing our breathing for us. I think I mentioned that in the reading, but we have always had this relationship. We always will, as long as we're alive, and possibly uh, after we're alive physically. And I'm going to assume that, but I don't know for sure. I've been told that, so that's what leads me to the assumption that there's a life after death. But either way, even if there isn't a life after death, there's a life right now, and there's a heavenly realm that can be had when you uh, embrace your relationship with your Creator through breathing, because again, that is your umbilical cord, that is your spiritual food, your breath, breathing. Love is your spiritual food. Love, when you're in love, you're in good spiritual condition. Love is harmony. Love is intimacy with your Creator. Again, atheistic omniverse or religious God. Love is our intimate uh, relationship, and it's our number one relationship. Our husband, or wife, or children, or friends, or neighbors, or lovers, uh, they can't breathe for us. They can't give us the air we breathe 24 hours a day, but our Creator can and does. So make that your number one relationship, and make that important to to embrace through love, embrace your connection with the Creator in love. And what you do with the love is up to you. You can do a variety of different things. You can, I can, I can love my hair, or channel, I should say, channel like love. I can love the uh, the chair. I can love someone else through conversation. I can love the people listening to this uh, by carrying on this conversation that I loved enough, or got enough love within me that I needed to communicate this message to other people, because it's too valuable. Again, uh, I've been in and out of lots of trouble because I was going down the wrong roads, uh, drinking, drugging, fighting, fussing, whoring around, getting into mischief and trouble. Uh, and And now I don't need to go down those wrong roads because I know the road. This is the road. Love is the road. Love is the path, is the place to be. And I have to thank Jesus for pointing this out. He took it, took the Deuteronomy 6:4, 6:5 that was given back in the Old Testament, and he isolated it. He focused in on it, and reduced the need for all the other rituals. God doesn't need you to do a bunch of hand washing and this, that, and the other thing because He wants you to love Him or God. You get the him and hers. Uh, God wants you to love God. Um, that's the most important thing. It's more important than all the other stuff. You can do those things as long as you're doing them in love. You have to do, if you're going to do rituals, have love. Love the things you're doing. Love your rituals. Love God in those rituals because whatever, everything you touch, everything you do is all God. So every you're either doing rituals or you're not doing rituals. But if you're either way, whatever you're doing, do everything with love because God is everywhere and you're guided to love God everywhere in all things. So there you go. That's part two of the love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength commandment. Um, if you watched the first video, or even during this video, you know who God is, and now you know what love is. You combine the two and remain dedicated to those two, and uh, you will be a success. Um, this isn't about, you know, it may or may not. You never know where it's going to take you, but when you have the euphoria of love inside of you, you can live in a tent somewhere, or you can live in the Taj Mahal. That's not going to matter. Your external circumstances are not going to matter because everywhere is God. God is in the woods, in the tent, and God is in the Taj Mahal, the bricks and mortar in the Taj Mahal. And to see both of them equally, to see God in all things, whether you're in the White House or uh, you're in a igloo somewhere. You see God and experience God and love God everywhere you go. So there is no rich or poor, black or white, uh, good or bad, ugly or beautiful, smart or dumb. There is none of those. There's none of that in love. There's no mental illness in love. There's no drama. There's no bullshit in love. Love it really is the answer, especially if you, well, I'm not going to get into whether it's especially. Love is the place to be. Love is again, the fruition of all of your drives. Uh, so there you go. So I'll see you at the next one, God willing. Uh, let's see if we can find